Today we're going to talk about I can trust God in all circumstances. The opening chapters of Job emphasize in a poetic way Satan's role as our adversary or accuser. They don't describe an actual interaction between God and Satan. As you read what Satan said about Job, you might ask yourself, why do I remain faithful to God? Why would it be dangerous to obey the Lord solely for the reasons Satan suggested? So let's go to Job 1. There was a man whose name was Job. He was blameless and upright. He feared God and turned away from evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters. He possessed many kings, many servants, so that this man was the greatest of all the people of the East. His sons used to go and hold a feast in the house of each one on his day. They'd send an invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. And when the days of the feast had run their course, Job would send and consecrate them. He would rise early in the morning and offer burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, "It may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts." Thus did Job continually. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came among them. So this is the part that is figurative and poetic. It's not describing an actual thing, an actual occurrence. The Lord said to Satan, "From where have you come?" Satan answered the Lord and said, "From going to and fro on the earth and from walking up and down on it." And the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? And there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, who fears God and turns away from evil." Then Satan answered the Lord and said, "Does Job fear God for no reason? Have you not put a hedge around him and his house and all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased in the land. But stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and he will curse you to your face." And the Lord said to Satan, "Behold, all that he has is in your hand. Only against him do not stretch out your hand." And Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. Something I was thinking while I was reading that is that this actually feels a lot like what it feels like to go through life. You are moving along and you're doing all the things that you should, or you're trying to, and because you're following the commandments or you're following the laws of the universe, things work out pretty well, right? But then all of a sudden something happens to just kind of ruin everything, and you're thrown off course. You have all these goals, you have all these plans, like I'm going to do all this stuff, and you're trucking along, and then something happens and it just gets totally derailed. Everything that you were moving towards has to stop, and your whole life becomes about dealing with this new thing in your life, this moment that you have to deal with something. And then when it's over, like you get through it and then it's over and you go, "Now what do I do?" And you go, "Oh yeah, I was actually in the middle of something. I guess I could go back to doing that." And then you have to reevaluate, well, was that worth it? Should I continue doing it? And you have to kind of get back into the mode of doing that. That's what life feels like to me. And it feels like maybe Satan's voice here is actually like the reason that we're here. It's because we are going to be tested to see if we will stay true to God, and in that test to grow. Because the more that you are tested on something, the more you either disbelieve it or believe it. The more you get to know it, the better you are able to understand it. And if you better understand God and how he works and who he is, you're more able to emulate that. So it's the whole point of being here. So when Satan says, yeah, he seems like he's doing great because you put a fence around him and won't let anything get in the way of his efforts, like he has no challenges or trials at all. Well, I don't know necessarily that Satan is persuading God to let him go and have at this guy. Satan and God don't work together. But God does know that that's what Satan is going to do, and he has set it up so that we will face these trials, or put us into a position by putting us on this earth, this fallen earth, where we will face trials brought onto us by Satan. But it's not like he's collaborating with Satan. Like, yeah, go ahead, go do this and this. And when it says you can go and stretch your hand out and touch all that he has, he says, "Behold, all that he has is in your hand. Only against him do not stretch out your hand." I think that he's essentially opening up the way for Satan to have influence over Job but he's still protecting Job. He's still got his hand over Job, and he's still protecting him, right? So I could say that that's what life feels like. That even though you go through these really hard things, God is still there. And he is saying what can and can't affect me. He knows what will affect me, and he orchestrates it so that it will be the most effective for me. But he's still protecting me in many ways. He's still with me completely. And he is kind of opening up things to influences so that I can be tested, I can be refined, and those sorts of things. So that's when I read that, that's kind of what comes to mind. It's like, this feels like what life feels like. But poetically, it's like a conversation between Satan and the Lord. Realistically, they don't collaborate. It's not like Satan's like, hey, he's more of a Loki figure, if anything. I don't know if he has access to the Lord. I don't think that he does. I don't think he can just walk up to the Lord and be like, try to manipulate him.
I think he's hanging out in outer darkness, cringing the Lord's power.
Yeah, he's kind of on a remote beach trying to influence all that the Lord has. But it does create that imagery that allows us to see that he is given, like, he is waiting. He's like, let me. He's like trying to destroy everything, right? He's trying to have access to all of God's people. He's just got his eye on, especially the ones that are the most faithful. He's got his eye on them, and he's trying to take them down, right?
Right.
Well, God occasionally is going to let him have access to people so that they can. But look at how controlled it is. Like that feeling of like God knows just what can and can't, what should and shouldn't happen. And he only allows what can or should and shouldn't happen, knowing what it will bring us to. Right. Does that make sense? How do you guys feel about that?
I feel like
I mean, it's what we signed up for, right?
I feel like it's what we need.
So when you're going through it, it doesn't feel like something you need. So you're sitting here right now, not going through something, saying that it's something you need. What can help you when you're going through trials, even severe trials like Job goes through? What can help you in those moments? But also remember this moment. Remember what you believed. Before you were clouded with suffering and doubts, remember this. Because Job knew this. Job knew this stuff. So when he was going through it, he could remember it. And there's a moment where he's like, I'm really starting to question some stuff here. He still doesn't let go of it. So knowing, believing, and remembering. So something that you should consider before you go off to experience all of these trials. Why do you remain faithful to God?
I got nowhere else to go.
Because
I mean, you do.
Not really.
Spirit person.
I mean, nowhere else I want to go.
Because I believe he is my loving father, and I know he'll help me through everything. And what he puts me through is to help me.
That's an interesting way to phrase it, because I don't know that God puts us through things.
Well, it lets me go through it.
I think it's important to keep that distinction in mind. There's this movie that's rated R, so don't watch it, but it's called V for Vendetta. It's about a guy who wears a Guy Fawkes mask in a totalitarian society where people are so, it's like 1984, George Orwell's 1984. People are so controlled, that they have no freedom of choice of anything. And he's trying to take down the government. Well, this girl, you're not supposed to go out at night. There are roving bands of police officers. She gets accosted one night when she's trying to go to her friend's house, even though she knows that it's dangerous. And I think he saves her, but then he takes her and then throws her into a dungeon and he tortures her until she's not, like, she's really afraid. Everybody's really afraid of the government. And so they don't rise up against it because they're so afraid of it because of what they'll do to them. So his philosophy is he goes and tortures her until she breaks for fear. Like she suddenly is like, well, I've survived all of these things and now she's not afraid anymore. Because it's like, well, what more can they do to me, really? You come away from that feeling very conflicted about this guy. You're like, he's supposed to be like the one we cheer for because he's trying to take down this evil government. then he tortured somebody. But then, after she's done being tortured, she's super strong and fearless, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go, I don't know what to feel about this guy anymore. Well, God is not like that. He is not going to take you and torture you. But we did agree to come to a world that would torture us. She had no choice. He imprisoned her and did it. We had a choice.
Mm-hmm.
We chose to come to a world that would torture us.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a savior who is with us and will help us and guide us and protect us and heal us. We do have that reassurance in this effort. But God is not that rebellion or that rebel. And that rebel, Satan, is not a benevolent rebel who's trying to take down the evil regime.
Mm-hmm.
So the world has it twisted both ways. So when you're looking at what you're going through, remember that. You're not that V for Vendetta, or God's not that V for Vendetta guy, and neither is Satan. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're going to leave it there.
Love you, Mom.
Love you guys.
Love you, Mommy. Love you.